Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the Central Rhode Island Chamber and Alicia and Nicole from the Spark Social. This is the fourth of four mini workshops on social media. So we're a little sad it's ending, but hopefully we'll have them back soon. They've been great if you've been at some of the other ones. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to you guys to get started. I think you should have access to the share screen. So whenever you're ready.
All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Lauren. I'm also sad that this is the last one. I really do love getting to talk to different businesses, and we love social media, so it's really easy for us to talk about social media nonstop. So today we want to talk about setting up Facebook ads for your business, things you should know, best practices, the technical side, the creative side. And full disclosure, by no means do I think that we can all be experts within the hour, but this is a way to kind of introduce you to the options, to make you aware of how they can work, what to expect, and get your toes wet, because I think it's a great option for all types of businesses to run Facebook ads. We want to leave time at the end for questions, so feel free to pop them in the chat as we're going. I'm going to share my screen, Nicole, if you don't mind kind of like keeping an eye on the chat too.
Will do.
All right. Let's see. All right, can everyone, I'm gonna make this larger, but can everyone see my screen so far?
Yep.
Excellent, okay. And I know I can't see everybody now, but if you've run Facebook ads before, just pop a quick yes in the chat, or if you're new to Facebook ads, you can let us know if you want to. You don't have to, but I'm just curious. So, all right. And I'm not going to do too much about the Spark. We're a social media agency. This is our fourth workshop. If you want to learn more about us, you can head over to our website. We work with all types of small to medium businesses, local focused businesses, not just Rhode Island, but we always try to work with businesses that have a local community feel to them. And so again, it's the spark.social. You can head over to our website and feel free to DM us or message us as well. So what we'll cover today, why Facebook ads, what you should know about them, what makes a great ad, and then getting started. We'll spend the bulk of the time here going through some of the technical stuff, and plus, what you should know about setting up full funnel approaches, a full funnel approach, and how that can work for you. So first of all, why Facebook ads? There's a ton of people on Facebook. I'm not going to read the stats. This might even be more now. I'm not sure. We do these presentations and then, things get outdated in just a matter of a couple months or a couple weeks even. And with COVID and, people being home and trying to stay connected more than ever, we're on social media. Is Facebook an older demographic? Slightly, yes, but there's also Instagram. And so for the sake of today's presentation, when I talk about Facebook ads, it's also Instagram ads. The way we run ads ensures that your ads are going to be not only on Facebook, but also on Instagram, the ads network, and several other placements throughout the entities and the places that Facebook owns as an organization. So why Facebook ads? First of all, you get a large reach. You really, really do for your money. And I'll get into that a little bit more. You can also do a targeted ad spend. So what that means is you can go after a very specific group of people. Maybe you're trying to reach vegan people for a new product. Maybe you're trying to reach pet lovers. Maybe you're trying to reach people who work from home and need blue screen glasses. You can target based on behavior, their tendencies, interest in other groups, demographics, and we'll get a little bit more into that as well. You can reach new people. So when you post on your Facebook page, you're only reaching people who follow the page, but when you do ads, you can make sure you're reaching new people who may not follow your page, maybe have never heard of your brand or service before. It's really great way to drive traffic to your website. We're big fans of, blogs and updating your content, but a lot of times people come to us and they're like, we put this blog out there and it was so great. We spent like a month writing it and got 3 views. So use Facebook ads. It's a quick way to speed that process up. Real-time results, and we'll show you the dashboard, how you can see exactly what's happening. You can change things, you can split test and turn things off that aren't working. You can track results. So you can see exactly who's clicking, you can see who's interacting, you can see demographics that are interacting. So for instance, if you're running an ad, you can even go into the ad and see that this ad is correlating or resonating rather with women over men better. So insights like that, tracking results and seeing real time people who fill out forms, people who start conversations, people who are clicking through to the website. You can test different ad copy. So, we do something like direct mail or a billboard. You can't really call them up and be like, hey, I want to change that for the day. But with Facebook ads, you can have multiple different things running under one umbrella budget, which we'll get into. They work, so that's a reason to use them. And we'll talk more about that. And budget friendly, which I'm going to get into here. So by no means do we think that traditional media doesn't have its place. It's great for branding. There's advantages to it. It's tangible. It's trustworthy. It's got a local feel when you do the hyper-local magazines and things like that. So we're not telling you to abandon what you're currently doing, but don't discount Facebook as an option to spend money. And when I say spend money, and this is something that we like to show people to kind of set the mindset, because a lot of people will come to us and say something like, oh, well, I spent $20 on an ad and, I don't know if I really got anything. What did you really think you were going to get for $20? If you were doing a radio buy, a billboard buy, a TV buy, or even just a simple print ad, your budgets are typically $300 for even a small, tiny print ad with a circulation in a certain area. So if you look at that in comparison to Facebook, you can plug in your daily budget. So this is even just $5 a day. That's a little low. 150 is low. Wait, $5 a day. Yeah. So this isn't, I think I had this even lower, but just for example's sake here, you can see it was no more than $5 a day. Yeah, my math is off. But anyway, we'll just go with $55 a day. This is what you're getting on Facebook. You're reaching about 1,000 to 3,800 people per day. There was a defined audience here. So you can see that's kind of low, 38,000 people. There's more than 38,000 people who live within 18 miles of Cranston. But speaking to that targeted audience, this was an ad that she's not on the call today, but she had asked me like, can I use Facebook ads for my bridal? Well, it's a tuxedo shop, but can I use Facebook ads for that? And I'm absolutely. So we went in and we kind of like were plugging around the numbers to see how it could work for her. And this is what we got. So again, that targeted ability to really focus on the audience that you need to hit. And, there's different ways. And if you're struggling with how to do that for your business, this is pretty cut and dry. People who are planning a wedding are super intense online. So, yeah.
There's a couple people here who know. I'm looking at you.
Really easy to target them because Facebook is like, oh, they clicked this one website, they went on the knot, and like all that stuff is.
They post their engagement photos.
Yeah.
They update their life event status.
So wedding people are wedding planners, people planning a wedding are really easy to target, but that doesn't change, and you've probably seen this. This is that creep level factor in your feed. You went to look at one, item for updating your living room or your kitchen or something, and now your feed is all like Bed Bath and Beyond, Crate and Barrel, like whatever it is that is similar to that. So that's that creep level factor that you hear about in the news where Facebook is stalking you. I like to call it personalization.
Most of us in marketing do.
So there are privacy settings. If you don't like that, that is fine. And some people do opt in for those privacy settings. But at the end of the day, the way that we give data as consumers, I don't want to go too far down the data privacy path, but it's not just Facebook, it's your credit cards, it's your phone usage, it's your Netflix usage, it's everything you do. At the end of the day, your data is being harvested. So that is what Facebook does in a nutshell. Yes, they take it to a slightly creepier degree, we'll call it, but it does allow for you to get those retargeting ads and things of those nature. So this is an example of how you can use Facebook for lead generation. It works better for certain industries over other for lead generation. So that's like exactly like getting the inquiries right then and there, those direct inquiries. And I will tell you that this isn't like spend $100, get it back in a day. This example we're showing you is from a campaign we ran probably, I don't know when, like a year and a half ago, maybe a year. But to get to this point, we had to do a lot of testing. So it's not as simple as put $100 in and get 500 out or something like that. But once you find what works, you can optimize and scale that. And that's exactly what we did in this case. I believe it was either like a home service, like awnings and lanais, or it was solar. But being able to get to see exactly how your ads are paying off for you, you can see this is the dashboard from Facebook, and it shows you exactly how people were tracked in the back end of Facebook, taking those actions on site, filling out a form, etc. You see exactly how many people were reached, the impressions, and there's far more you can see, which we'll get into. So do Facebook ads work? Absolutely. This is an example of e-commerce. Not going to dive into it. I think, it's pretty cut and dry. You can see how many purchases were made on this person's site. They spend a phenomenal amount of money, about $10,000 a week, sometimes up to $5,000 a day. They did not just go to Facebook and put $5,000 in. Again, they had to scale to get there. They had to test, and then you scale. So there is like a science to it, and that's what we love about it. So what you should know about the ads. And Nicole, feel free to jump in if I'm missing anything. These were like my 9 top things to kind of just keep in mind. But Facebook Ads Manager sets you up to run ads on Instagram and Facebook as the default. So again, when all the results I was just showing you, every time I say Facebook ads, it's also Instagram ads. You can exclude Instagram ads if you wanted to. I don't know why you would do that. Most of the time it works, I would say, right? To just
You would
run.
just keep an eye on it, and if it's considerably more expensive, we did occasionally have someone like that would run really expensive on Instagram and decide to cut it out because it wasn't where their network was. But these days, I think it's so evenly divided, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So, and like, one thing I want to hit on too is we run ads on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We can do Twitter ads. They're not our favorite. We do a lot of Google, but out of the digital dashboards out there, Facebook by far allows us to customize campaigns, get creative, and use the numbers and the targeting ability. It's way more advanced than most other platforms. Like LinkedIn is a great place, but their ad platform is just not, it's subpar to Facebook. Google is quite almost as great as Facebook, in my opinion. I don't know, some people might argue Google is better, but we just really love social media. And I think you'll see why we love Facebook ads so much as we get into this more. So, you're running them on the ads network. I mentioned that. So that means if you're running ads through Business Manager, your ads manager rather, you're also, if you're on like a Forbes article, your ad can be there. And so you're getting this brand presence as well. There is a difference between boosting and running a Facebook ad campaign. Always have a strategy, dedicate a real budget. Again, that's why we like show the traditional compared to Facebook, because a lot of people go in thinking like, oh, I'm just going to throw a couple bucks at this. But if you really want results, real results, be prepared to have a real marketing strategy and a real budget. There's no instant success. I mean, there could be, but I think that's more fluky than common. It's really growing your viewership, growing your audience, finding the right target message that's resonating. And you're running ads on behavior and audience. So Google, think of it as the phone book. It's like you're going after keywords. People are like, I need a pizza, I need a plumber. And they're typing in and they're going to Google. That's like the equivalent of the old school like phone book, if anybody still has one. Facebook, on the other hand, is content consumption. We scroll over 300 yards a day on social media sites. So think of it as reading a magazine. Oh, I didn't know this restaurant opened. Oh, I didn't know I needed this product that I definitely don't need, but I'm going to buy. You know what I mean? Like, so for instance, I've bought like bracelets that match my dog's collar. I didn't know that existed, but thank you, Facebook. I now own 5. So Facebook is a great way to get passive browsers. If you have a product that's rare, different, Facebook is definitely a place for you. So you're bidding on that audience and behavior. Poor websites, content, video, and imagery will kill your results. There's just no way around that. Don't forget the supporting pieces. So Facebook can't always be the only thing. And this is just, I'm not going to go over this in detail, but it's the rule of 7. Someone could see you on Facebook and then, see your ad in a print magazine, or see something on Instagram, and then see something, post it on, I don't know, any other website that you use for your marketing. And it's that rule of 7. They're going to see you multiple times. Social media is a part of what you should be doing. It's a very strong part in our opinion, but it's a part. Don't kill all your other marketing. So what makes a good ad? A lot of things, right? But there's a couple things that I'm going to point out. Video, hands down, it's not changing, not going away. Feed stopper image, we call it. So this is like on the right, you see it's like glittery and bright. Maybe it just is a feed stopper to me as like a glittery, bright person, but social proof also. So she has Forbes, that's social proof. A lot of comments or likes on something can also be considered social proof. She just literally put Forbes logo in there. So I'm like, oh, who is this woman who was featured in Forbes? Emojis, your brand voice, you see over here upright. This is very eye grabbing. If it's not on brand for you, that's fine. You don't have to use emojis, but use that brand voice. Compelling headlines, strengthen your posture. They get right to it. Down here, and I blow this up on the next screen, call to actions and done for you Facebook ads that actually work. That sounds so good. Okay, cool. So things like that, you want to be concise, you want to be compelling, you want to grab their attention, and this is how it's going to go. You're scrolling, the first thing you're going to see is the image. Your eyes will never fall on the text first. So if your image is bad, they're not going to stop. I mean, if
it's bad enough, they might stop, but for the wrong reasons.
Sorry, go ahead, Nicole.
Oh, sorry. I said if it's bad enough, they might stop, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Well, I have a weird example next. So.
Perfect.
But and then it goes, okay, the image. Oh, okay. Then your eyes go to the text. Now you only get a small portion. This isn't all going to show. There's a see more. I click see more to grab this screenshot. So then you're like going to read the first few lines. Okay, that sounds interesting. You may click see more, or you go down here. And so hitting those pain points concisely. So again, with Facebook, you have the tech element where you're setting things up properly, but you have the creative element. And so you need someone who can look over your content, your copywriting, you need images and Facebook, video, made for Facebook video. It sounds kind of overwhelming. You can do it pretty effectively. And we can get into that a little later on. This is a different ad. It's kind of blurry because it was a screenshot of a screenshot that one of my friends posted in a group, but it just shows you that, it's a picture of a t-shirt, right? There's nothing great about this t-shirt, but they threw the iPhone reminder in there, and there's something about it that makes you stop. Then you're like, wait, what does that say? Oh my God, that's hilarious. So now they have your attention and you're like, well, what makes this t-shirt different than any other t-shirt? Well, you got to click to find out and you get 10% off. So that's a good ad in my opinion. Be different. I always like to say, keep it organic over stock, but that's the beauty of Facebook is you can test, and you can tell these are all ads because they say sponsored, by the way. This is a more stock imagery, I would say. More they look like ads. I lean towards keeping ads more organic, but you can play around. Sometimes I'm wrong. We always test with clients and they're like, well, why do all these ads look so different? Because we don't know what's going to work with your target audience till we try it. Obviously it's not completely random. There's some type of brand consistency and strategy, but one may be a stock image, one may be more graphic-y, whereas one may be just an image of you playing with your dog. If you're like a service-based business and you're an attorney, for instance, stuff like that works really, really well. If anybody was in the Instagram workshop or whatever one it was, when all else fails, just put a dog in the image. Don't forget your call to action, or else people aren't going to know what to do. Those are pretty much built in when you're setting up the ad. So you'll see shop now. These are all Instagram. So again, you're setting up one ad, Facebook, in the back end of Facebook Ads Manager. Facebook is formatting it for you to run on Insta, to run on the ads network, and you can see how it will look. I like these ads. These are all video. On Instagram, video hands down kills it right now. They always put a little snippet of text so you can read if you don't have your sound on. This one on the right is static, but I liked about this is what I will also refer to social proof. They literally just pulled this woman's or whoever's tweet, slapped it right into the ad. Can't get a better, more genuine looking testimonial than that.
Can you just quickly, I know we didn't really touch on the ads network a lot. We just mentioned that like your ad will show up in Forbes. So we just had a question about explaining like the ads network. And what it is just that is sort of the extension of Facebook. So if you're reading an article on Facebook, when you click on that article, typically you don't actually leave the Facebook app. It just comes up as like an article on Facebook. And as you're scrolling, you'll end up seeing ads that are, somebody's running ads. So for example, a local company that we've worked with before, I was reading Alicia's example of a Forbes article, and suddenly their ad popped up and I was like, oh, cool. And I screenshotted it and I never sent it to Alicia. So I don't have an example.
Was that RA Spirits?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's Google does this too. So what Google and Facebook do is buy up what's called remnant space. You as a business could go buy remnant space yourself. And so there's spaces available on news websites, blog websites, I don't know, any other website that has content in their space for sale. And Facebook just places them there. So they don't do it at random though. They keep in mind your audience and they keep in mind your geographical targeting. So it's not like, oh, your ad is in Forbes showing up to someone in Texas when I want, a man in Texas when I wanted to reach women in Providence. It's just for people who are interacting with that content within your specified geographics or demographics and geographical territory. So what makes a great ad? Some things to keep in mind: test images, test ad copy, test video, test call to actions, run multiple ads at the same time. And this is not a profound quote. It's just the truth.
I love it.
Social media is powerful, but if your ads are bad, you're just going to get bad results. And I think a lot of people think like they see these things like, oh, I ran, you see a success story and they're like, oh, I ran a Facebook ad and I got 100 leads. And they go out there and they boost a post for $20. And then they're like, well, I didn't really get anything. And it was like not thought out. But bad marketing is bad marketing no matter where you put it. So at the end of the day, the marketing 101 applies. So how do you run ads? This is, we're at 9:30, so I'm going to go through this pretty quick. And again, by all means, I don't think anyone's going to be like a Facebook ads expert after this, but you could probably get started and I will give you some sources if you want to do continued learning. So the easiest way, this is a post right from our page. You go to your Facebook business page, there's this boost button, you hit it. Once you do that, it will pop up with some options. How much do you want to spend? Blah, blah, blah. Who do you want to target? That's Mark's way of just taking your money and running with it. He's just running to the bank with it. It's the gateway of Facebook addiction to ads. Don't do it. We want you to go hardcore. Don't go for the low hanging fruit. So the problem with boosting, in our opinion, and I have a slide on this, but the problem with just boosting is you miss out on the full experience of setting up an ad. This is option 2. It's a beginner step. It's not still my favorite, but it gives you some more options than boosting. Boosting, you are just taking a post on the page and you're like, yeah, let's reach more people. Just not my favorite thing to do. There's no strategy. It's just, here's $20 Facebook. And it will even say like, do you want to spend $50? Do you want to spend $20? It's just getting you to get used to spending money with Facebook. And there's a consumer psychology behind that. It's much easier to spend money with something you've already spent money with. So that's Facebook's gateway to get you. They're very smart. That's probably why they're $1 billion company. So this is the second option. When you go to your Facebook page, there's an ad center on the left-hand side. If you are in your business page, you're an admin on your page, and you can click ad center. You'll see promote at the bottom, or you'll see create ad here. Now this gives you a few more options. So this is like way better than boosting, still not the best, but if you have to start somewhere, this is where we recommend starting because it's going to get you familiar with at least the lay of the land. So here you have a couple options on what you want to do. these are kind of like watered down objectives, we'll call them. So most people are going to be like, oh yeah, let's go for get more leads, you know, like why wouldn't I want to get more leads? Most businesses. Well, you can't just go get leads. You have to kind of start with a plan. And so most of the time we say start with traffic, start with brand awareness, build up that audience and that data, and then go for the leads because there's a system behind it. Facebook optimizes data. They will optimize for results for you. You have to give Facebook the data in order to do that. And so running traffic, you're going to get what we call top of funnel, and you're going to get more. So say you spent, let's just say for numbers sake, $1,000 on traffic versus $1,000 on leads. $1,000 on traffic, you'll get, you know, at 50 cents a click, you're going to get 2,000 clicks to your website, something like that. That's great. Now Facebook has data to work with, and it can optimize on who is interacting with the content on your website the most, who saw the ad, clicked. That's segmented in Facebook's data in the back end. And so now when you say, Facebook, I want leads, I want people who you know are going to be a good fit for me, Facebook can go out and optimize your ad spend. So if you had just gone and spent $1,000 with leads, you would see way less clicks to your website because Facebook is trying to figure out like who are your leads, because you're bidding on audience. You're not bidding on keywords. So this is what we run our ads on. It's the business manager, and your ads manager lives inside here. So it looks a lot different than what you were just looking at. It's a lot more complex in terms of where you can, I'm just going to tell you, here we go. I thought I had that next slide, but it's a lot more complex in terms of like the data you can see. You can have multiple campaigns running at once. You can have multiple different objectives. You can, I had a slide, but it's like a little farther up, so I can't remember everything I said. That makes it a benefit, but the flexibility, the amount of data you get. The next thing that I like, oh yes, this is it. Okay, the next thing that I like is the Facebook pixel. So if you're going to be running ads, even just doing the ad center, this, you know, I call it intermediate over expert, make sure the Facebook pixel is installed on your site. If you don't know how to do that, there's plenty of YouTube videos on where you go to get this Facebook pixel code and send it to your website developer. They install it on your website, and that's how Facebook is understanding that data that's relevant to what's happening on your website. It can get a little more complex because in addition to installing this code to just track who's coming to your website, you can track the actions. You can see here, it's kind of small, I'm sorry, but you can track the actions that happened on this site. So 155 people out of the 6,400 page views, 155 people went to initiate checkout, 97 completed registration, and 21 filled out a contact form. So you are having your website developer, or if you are your website person, you're installing these codes yourself and telling Facebook that if this happens, then optimize, that's registering for this event. They're called events on Facebook. So again, benefits of the ads manager, you're going to get data like this with the pixel. You're going to be able to test ad copy and video. When you're setting your ad up the other way, you're really going for like one image, one headline for the most part. I think you might be able to do like a little split test. And I'll show you. I'm going to actually open up an ad screen for you, ads manager, and show you a live campaign or one that just ended. You can set up a full funnel approach. So you can have your traffic ads. Then when you see that you're getting enough traffic, you can run retargeting ads to bring people back for, you know, to engage with landing page views. And then you can go after bottom of funnel, asking people to sign up for that free consultation, schedule a demo, contact us, set up a meeting, whatever that bottom of funnel is, you can do it in a dash in the back end of ads manager by setting up your campaigns with separate objectives. And you can scale and optimize. So again, you remember this guy, he didn't just go spend $60,000 with Facebook. He took some time to get there. So scale and optimize, find what's working, kill the ads that aren't, turn the ones up that are. There are scaling techniques. You don't want to break your ad sets. We see clients all the time who are like, oh, this is working. Let's throw in like $3,000 more. No, let's hold on. Let's scale responsibly. Let's duplicate and scale, because you can't just throw things at Facebook. It's very finicky with its algorithm. So, there are like techniques to it. All right, so this is where you get into setting up an ad. So you can see here, and I'm gonna open up the real thing in a second, but you can see here, when you set an ad up in Facebook's backend, oh my gosh, they literally put the funnel steps for you. So it's like they want you to make a funnel. So I will do brand awareness and reach if it's like a new product or company that needs to run national. For local, go with traffic or engagement. You'll get a big bang for your buck because you have a very narrow target audience here in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Mass, whatever. This is your top of funnel. And then middle of funnel could be just a separate piece of content that's more engaging. And then your bottom of funnel is where you're telling them that conversion you're tracking on site. You're telling Facebook, okay, we have enough traffic. Our pixel is seasoned is like a common term you'll hear Facebook marketers say. Let's go out and grab that purchase now. Let's go out and grab that conversion. Let's go out and grab that lead, whatever that may be for you. So this just lists out your different options. There's a few more slides here, but you can have this deck. I can email it to you. One thing we're going to talk about, I'm going to open up the real ads manager now, and then I'm going to leave some time for questions. But within it, you're going to see there's 3 levels to a campaign. This is how we set up to test. At the campaign level, you're choosing that objective, traffic, engagement, reach, brand, all those things that I was just showing you. At the ad set level, you're going to be able to test different things like audience, budget, placement. And at the ad level, that's your actual ad copy. So your images, your text, if you want to do video versus static, if you want to do the funny ad versus the stock image, that's where you're going to do this. So let me just get out of here. How do I do that? Okay. All right, so I have my ads manager up. Hopefully. Facebook is notoriously slow for loading because I originally wanted to just set an ad up for you guys, but Facebook is just, you can even see here, this one screen. It's so slow. So just make sure you have a good internet connection. So this is our ad account. Some things that we've run in the past, you can see here, but for the sake of today, this is a campaign we're going to go into. So it's done because this campaign was to market for these events. So I'm going to click into this campaign and you can see here, hopefully, it's like, oh, what's happening here? I think I clicked the wrong thing. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I did. I clicked the one above. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see here your tabs up here. This is the actual ads manager. And you'll get here by going to business.facebook.com. So you can see here now the campaign objective was to promote an event. The ad sets were the different workshops, and then we might have done some testing on audiences. So you can see here for today's, and I haven't looked at these, so my team set them up. So today we'll find out how they went. So we have 2. I recall that I asked them to do, okay, this is a lookalike audience, and this is a small business owner audience. So at a glance, I can see that they got the same amount of responses, but let's go in, and then we spent the same amount of money on both of these ad sets. Let's go in and see if we had like a winning ad. All right, so this is the lookalike audience. What is a lookalike audience? That is when you take your data, email list, website traffic, past conversions, what else can you get a look at? Your Facebook page engagement,
Yep.
Instagram engagement, and you tell Facebook, hey, these are my people. I want more people like my people. And so you create a lookalike audience. So Facebook is like, okay, you got like 1,000 emails. Cool. We're going to like try and find, 10,000 more people like your people. So lookalike audience. So I told my team, they had set up a small business audience. And I said, take our data, dump it in there. Let's do a lookalike to promote the event. Then this looks like these are the ads they came up with. I will say I saw this one in my feed, Nicole, and the format was off. So just watch your formatting. Looks like if I have to say one of these was a winner.
Oh yeah.
This one got the most event responses. This one got the cheapest. So you got to keep that in mind. There might be something to that. If I can open this one for you. Again, I'm sorry, it's a little clunky and slow.
Zoom doesn't help.
No, that too. You had Zoom on top of Business Manager. Our faces won. All right, so this ad was the best one. I guess our faces, oh, this girl.
Well, so the difference between our faces and I think the one that wins versus the ad one with the yellow is that it's more that one still is more graphic-y, and you will find a lot of the times that you know not as we said, not 100%, because we have a very specific example of where an envelope won out on newsletter signups over like all of these other great images, and it was just this really silly image of just an envelope on the screen. It said sign up for this newsletter, and that one was the best performing. People were actually signing up off of that, and we were like, really? Why? But a lot of times faces in more you know, natural photography will win out.
You can see
Not
here,
all the time.
you test it on, so this is a different audience. So again, your campaign level was events, your objective. Your ad set was your audiences. So we tested small business owners. We typed in interest that small business owners would have. And then we did a lookalike based off of our email, our website traffic, everything like that. And so this is the small business audience. So you can see the ads here. I'm in the ad set, ad level. So here again, this image, nope, this one got the
Interesting.
cheapest, but this one got the most. So
Yeah.
that's where you make the judgment calls. I thought one thing we love to do is like call it, like we're like, this is the winner. And then when we're right, it feels really good. I thought this one would work because it's a feed stopper. It's just like really bright and you're like, ah, that's ugly. What is this? So we just kind of had fun with it. And that's the thing, you know, you can have fun with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't work, turn it off.
Yep, for sure.
Now, the last thing I'm going to show you, and I'll open it up to questions because it's 9:40, is over here. These are your options. So this is where you're going to see things like your pixel is events. Let's go over to audiences. This is where we build those audiences out. I was talking about lookalike audience. There's 3 types of audiences. So you have custom audience is your actual data. So if I wanted to take my email list and market to my email list, which you're like, well, why would I do that? Sometimes people ignore email. It's very powerful. Again, remember that rule of 7, which is probably higher now because we see something like 4,000 ads a day. You want to hit them in email. Like say you have an event coming up, like a workshop, or you have like a big conference. You want to hit them in the email. You want to show back up on Facebook. Oh yeah, I saw that in my email. I gotta register for that. Selling a product, special sale, email, Facebook. So cheap, your conversion levels will skyrocket. So that's your custom, any data you own. Then you can create your type. Your third audience type is just saved. So it's like the small business owner, or if I wanted to target dentist, or if I wanted to target social media marketers. So it's just things you save in the back end. So that is in a nutshell where I spend my time in the back end. There are oodles of options in here. And if you go into your, oh, I had it open actually already. If you go into like the results of the ads, you can customize the columns. You can do things like look at, like I was saying, you know, is it females? Is it working better on Instagram? Is it working better on Facebook? Like, where am I getting the results? You can really spend hours in here.
We have a quick question of how much time between email and Facebook. And honestly, if you're running a campaign for an event, you would set them up at the same time. Like, so you would have the email, you might have the email go out first, and then that way it follows up with, you know, they after they've checked their email that morning, it follows up on Facebook that this event is happening. But you have less control over when Facebook actually shows them the ad, but I would set them up at the same time so that it's sort of a concurrent experience.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to open up the column so you can see as I'm talking. Any other questions in the chat?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
So this workshop is not to overwhelm you, because I feel like we threw a lot your way and you're probably like, I'm never going to run a Facebook ad in my life. But if you need to start with the ad center, because it's going to give you a feel for how the back end works. So you'll get used to setting an ad up. You'll get used to the objectives. You'll get used to the spends, but a full funnel approach would be using the back end, the ads manager. And that's where you start to weigh your time. Like, do you truly enjoy doing this? Do you like, learning as you go? Because things change. We were joking about Googling for answers before we started this call. But in digital, I didn't go to Facebook college. So, and even if I did, things
It's
change
already
literally on a daily basis. So we're always attending, masterminds and coursework, things like that, to keep us up to date on the best practices. Now, Facebook also, one thing I want to talk about is like Facebook is kind of like old news. A lot of people are like, oh, TikTok, oh, Instagram, but you can just run ads on Instagram. You don't have to run on Facebook. You can just run on Instagram if you want to. I really do feel strongly that Instagram is not going to fizzle out. Facebook also, where I think we see people deleting the app on their phone because it's like too much sometimes. I don't see it being deleted completely because we have too much stored with Facebook to actually get rid of it. Like, I delete it on my phone and then I have to like put it back on there for things, or I'm like logged into certain things with Facebook. Marketplace is making a huge play right now. It's going to put Craigslist I don't know if it's put out of business, but it's like not going to be as big. Other things like the shop on Facebook, people love, and that carries over to Instagram, like having your catalog actually available. So there's just so much user experience and so much we're used to that Facebook ads are still powerful. Even if your 16-year-old is like, Facebook is for old people. Well, guess what? we're the demographics that spend money, and we're still there. And it's going to be quite viable for some
for a
time.
long time. We did have a question about the middle, like about the funnel and the middle of funnel. So we had mentioned that typically at the top of the funnel, you're pushing traffic to a website, or you're pushing an ad in front of people in sort of a broad base, and the bottom is where you're looking for that conversion. So what was the middle of the funnel? And typically, I mean, if I take that answer, typically it's showing back up in some way, whether it's a different type of ad or a different, testing a different call to action. So it's usually some retargeting. And you may be, there may be a different offer. There may be, more information. So a lot of times what we might do is push someone to a blog about the topic at hand, a pain point, something like that. And then, if they land, they took the bait, they went to the website, they read the blog, and then we show back up with a little bit more information about who we are. We're the Spark, this is what we do. Maybe it's a video, kind of building that trust. And we give them the option to learn something more about ourselves. We might ask them if they're interested in, a digital audit, a social media voice analysis. Do they just want to get on the phone with us? Our bottom of funnel conversion sometimes is that, like, hey, let's talk, so you're kind of showing back up and testing different ways to bring people back to the website or back to whatever your conversion is. And then the bottom of funnel is that ask. So it might just be a lead generation form, or it might be typically it's like something like a lead generation form, or put this in your shopping cart. So but the middle of funnel it can get a little murky in the middle of the funnel. But if you've shown up to them, I just threw my phone on the floor. If you've shown up to them here and you're trying to push them to take an action down here, that middle is kind of based on your business and what you need to tell people in order for them to get comfortable with you.
Think about your buyer's journey too. Are you selling shoes that people can make a decision on in a week? Or are you selling estate plans at $6,000 to $10,000 a package or something like that? Or solar, which is like very expensive. Is it going to take people a couple months to build trust with your brand, see your ads again and again, and then kind of be like, yeah, I really got to call them. I'm trying to type, but my keyboard's not on, that's why. Because that's one thing I wanted to show you is frequency. This is like another thing that's like a science and an art, is you want people to see it enough to get familiar with it, but you don't want to ad fatigue it. So this is, I'm happy with that. This is just for this particular campaign. If I go back out, or this particular ad set, if I go to the entire campaign, That's cool. I'm cool with that. The other thing I want to say is like the people who registered for the event and didn't come, I'm not sad. Like I'm not counting that as not a result, because guess what we can do, and we will do. We can find the people who engaged with this event. They were interested for some reason or another. This was top of funnel. So it could be people who are like, yeah, I really do need to understand more about Facebook ads. They registered for the event, they can't make it. You know, life is crazy, stuff happens. But now we know that they engaged. Do I know who exactly they are? Not unless they actually registered for the seminar workshop. But if they like clicked RSVP, I'm interested, we have that data. And it's also showing Facebook, oh, these are the type of people who want to learn this. So we have that data, we can show back up again, we can build that trust, we can use that data to find more people who are like that. So I'm not disappointed if, you know, it says that we got X amount of people who were interested and only like a fraction of those showed up.
That's typical for sure. When we're talking about frequency, Alicia, what you had said, like you were okay with the frequency. What should people be looking for there, do you think?
Yeah, that's look at all the ads you have running. Yeah, that's a hard one. I would say aim for like no more than 4 to 5 for the entire campaign, because then they're seeing the brand but different ads. If one ad is getting up to like 5, that you're going to ad fatigue it. So Facebook's going to say these people are seeing it again and again and they're not clicking. So maybe your audience is too small, maybe the ad's not working. There's multiple bottlenecks at any given time, at any given point within the ad process that could be causing your ads not to get you results. But ad fatigue is a common one where people just let the same ad run. They have, you know, one ad and they're just showing up to the same, like a very small audience with the same ad. So that's going to be ad fatigue. So your frequency, there's no set number. I'm sorry. But I'm happy to hop on calls. If anybody is running ads, we do offer like audits where we go in and try to find like your bottleneck, what you could be doing better, things like that. But the frequency is going to depend on, you know, how many ad copies you have running. Is your audience big enough? Is the result not correlating? You know, if you have like frequency 15 and like nobody's clicking, that's like bad, you know? So, and your buyer's journey, like, do they need to see you again and again over the course of a few months?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jennifer. I feel like you unmuted.
Yeah, no. So I was going to say, when you look at all of this, it can be overwhelming. So as a business for you and Nicole and Alicia, is this sort of what you do? I mean, you manage and you track and you do all of that. Like in your business, do you take it from beginning to end for your clients?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're big on educating, but we love doing it, obviously, and we're really great at it. But if you get your feet wet and you want to, you know, go into Facebook ads, or you're looking for someone to run Facebook ads for you, we do have different packages. Because if you don't want a full funnel and you just want that brand awareness, because that's powerful, you know, for people to just see you locally, we do have different packages. So you don't have to spend a ton of time and a ton of money. It's equivalent to what you would spend doing your newspaper or, you know, traditional magazine ads, I think are common for small businesses. You know, and that doesn't blow your budget. If you have, you know, I've spoken to people who are like, oh, I want to grow my business to, you know, we're doing like 10,000 a month and I want to go to like 100,000 a month. Okay. Well, how much do you want to spend on Facebook ads? $500. That's not probably going to happen. So we're realistic, but for $500 a month to show back up and over time, see, like, you know, people, we're doing this for a bankruptcy firm. Now she doesn't spend a ton, but she's well known in the community. She offers up advice, and we don't boost. We run the ads so that her brand is boosted up and people see her. There's Bonnie. Oh yes, Bonnie. Like, she's very well known in the community, and now she runs these Facebook ads. So she's seen an uptick in her bankruptcy practice in Connecticut. She doesn't spend a lot at all. And by not a lot, I mean like $5 $500 a month, but she wasn't expecting like, oh, I'm going to put $500 in this first month. I better see 10 new clients. You know, she was like, let's do 500 a month. That's how much I spend in the reminder.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's, I think, a big thing. And I think we talked a little bit about that apples to apples comparison. And just touching on that briefly, we have some wonderful local publications. But I actually got the opportunity to chat with somebody about what he was spending in the publication and what that looked like on Facebook, and sort of, saying, because he's interested in reaching a different demographic than he reaches with a publication like The Reminder. And for a quarter of the price, he could reach 5 times the number of people. Now, in an apples to apples comparison, we're literally looking at reach, because when you have The Reminder, and as Alicia mentioned, it's tangible. It might sit on your table, you might see it more than once, and sometimes with ads, they're there and they're gone. But if you're if the ad is set up correctly, and what we do is different from just pushing reach out there, because that's really cheap, but that doesn't give you the opportunity to follow up. And that's why we always kind of recommend starting with that traffic mentality. And there's different options inside of that, but you want a way to retarget people, you want a way to show back up to them. But the apples to apples comparison is, Facebook is really complimentary. It's very inexpensive compared to those publications. But it can be challenging for someone who's very used to old school marketing to kind of wrap their brain around a little bit. So we always try to remind people that it's more meant to be complimentary than necessarily have to take the place of.
Yeah. And you mentioned the retargeting, like how powerful is that? That's super affordable. But if someone comes to your website, we got another question.
Yep.
But if someone comes to your website and then you show back up to them with something valuable, like say you're an accountant, that's a one area where we work with a lot of accountants and financial advisors. And like say somebody comes to your website and they're like kind of considering doing business with you, and they bounce, but then you get something back up in your feed, like 3 things you should know about your PPP loan as a small business owner. You're like, oh, that's cool. Like this company is offering me advice
and free information. So the question from Trisha is, how long would you say the process is to go from the target to get people to your site, and then be more specific to looking for leads only?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great question, and we get it a lot. And I'm going to give you the typical "it depends" answer. Because it 100% depends on that situation we talked about. Like, are we talking about buying a pair of shoes? Are we talking about picking, your estate planner or your financial advisor for life? And we realize that, like, most people are not picking their estate planner or their financial advisor or some of those heavy trust building educational processes based on, something they saw on social media, but rather on a full scope. So with e-commerce, it might take a week, it might take 30 days. For longer processes, you're looking at something along the lines of, you may get some people who make a decision in 90 days, but honestly, a lot of the decisions are actually made from that 90-day mark to the 18-month mark. And so you're talking a consistent process of showing back up, of educating, of trust building. And again, that's for those service-based businesses where it requires a significant amount of trust to make that decision. So it does depend, but you will see a lot of people come back much, much later. And we only get a certain amount of attribution ability. So,
The tracking is not perfect. Like where you saw like the leads registered and the purchases, we get 7 days. So if the person comes to your website, does something, leaves, and then purchases on day 8,
we don't get
attribute. So that is something that's hard for our clients to understand, but we try to educate that there's things that we can't track that are attributed to the Facebook ads. It's just not showing in the dash. And then another thing, like Nicole was saying, like, nobody's just going to see one Facebook ad about an attorney, click and like become a client. For the most part, it's trust building. But another thing to consider is if your business is like what we say, like emergency based. Mm-hmm. So, when your pipes are burst and your basement's filling with water, you're not going to like go to Facebook and like ask your friend
for an ad,
go to Google and be like, I need someone here now. So think about that too,
Yeah. Understanding how your buyer finds you and what their intention is when they're looking for you, for sure.
That doesn't mean that you can't run Facebook ads for those types of businesses. Like we're doing that for roofing right now, where he's going after lead generation on Google, because people need a roof or they don't. They're not, going to be on Facebook and be like, oh, let me just update my roof for fun. But then we're also running on Facebook a lot of like educational stuff, like what's the difference between a metal roof and a shingle roof, because it's building that brand. So when they go to Google, they're like, oh yeah, XYZ roofer, I saw him on Facebook. Okay. And it makes your
He
company
really knows his stuff.
yeah, it makes your company look huge too. Like I don't remember who said this quote, but on the internet, you can make your business look as big as any other business.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot.
So any other questions? Because I know we're a couple minutes after 10.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Okay. Sorry, Jennifer.
No, that's okay. So much information. And you guys are such experts that I'm sure there are a lot of us that are like, oh boy. But it, like, as you said, it's a slow learn. If you start somewhere, then you're already, that much further ahead. And you guys are always accessible. They did put their information in the chat. So if you want to save the chat, I hope everybody knows how to save the chat. You can click on the chat, the three buttons, the three dots to the right. It'll pull up save chat. You can save that and be able to have the contact information. It'll save it on your computer.
Yeah.
Oh, are we, sorry, misunderstanding the question, like our email addresses?
No, you put your information about the business in there.
Oh, gotcha.
And all
Yep.
of that.
Yeah, you can find us at thespark.social. You can also email us at Nicole@thespark.social or Alicia@thespark.social. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are our primary websites or social media platforms. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. Like I said, this is the fourth and final one of this series. You guys have done an awesome job. If you missed some of the other ones, you can check out our Facebook page. But thank you guys so much. Great job as always.